I will talk about a little bit heavy and could be sensitive issues. It's not issues, but I think we have to talk about this. We have a constructivism. It is a very sounds good and ideal. And then John Dewey's and Piaget's and Vygotsky's, their theory, you read their books, and then yes, and as a teacher, we must do it. However, this I see as a special educator, this constructivism is really make the children not fully ready, and then their school readiness are really falling behind, or even completely fail under this constructivism. It is a beautiful theory for the children. I just often says we have 4 potential category of students. 4 categories, 4 groups of students. The first group is high functional intelligence. So they are born with high functional intelligence. With each word is like a normal range of IQ. And then we have children, it's opposite. Children is not, I would not say low functional intelligence. We could say potential intelligence, or we could say cognitive potentials. I like cognitive potentials because I don't see children with disabilities as an impairment. However, cognitive disability, the word itself is a disability, so we could change it to this. So we can take out this, and then we can just hold the ability by our teaching. And everything is our acts and behaviors based on our perspectives and our insights, our beliefs, right? So when we say cognitive potentials, it gives a big hit to anyone, any professionals work for children a little bit behind. So they have cognitive potentials, and then we do our best. And then child does not show outcomes, and then we see, we review, reflect, we evaluate adult teaching method. However, if we say disability, and it makes us, everything is on child. It's not teacher's shoulders, it's a child's shoulders. So that is a constructivism. Because constructivism basic principle, proposition is every child has a potential, those young children. So that intellectual potential, so we spread all environment itself is educational environment with all just, and then provoke their intellectual curiosities. And instead of we just hold their hands and then we walk and teach them how to walk, how to learn, how to laugh. Instead of that, let them develop themselves. If the environment is fully educational, and then they're gonna develop themselves based on their intellectual curiosity. It is a very beautiful principle and theory, and we all want our children have those natural, functions, functional intelligence to do that when they are born, right? And then it's so, good for adults. We are off from our responsibilities. Why? You make a whole classrooms, a whole home environment educational, and then you don't have to do any. It's just monitor, facilitate children, and then they're gonna just explore around, they're gonna learn, right? These are for the children, gifted children can do that. And good facilitator could do that. I would say intellectual facilitator probably, right? However, some children, they just crawl around, creep around, and then they do cruise walking. They stand up by themselves, and they started walking. However, we have children, we have 12 months as a milestones for walking, right? We have each milestones for developmental stages. However, children do not pass those milestones, and then we, as a nurturer, we have to provide them. We have to more directly, we have to teach them, practice them to walk. So that is a behaviorism. Behaviorism, instead of waiting with the expectations, behaviorism, they actually designed or teach and planned, and then they one by one, they chained all those scope and sequence they chained, and then from the beginning, they teach it to be independent. Teach it to be independent. It's not permanently they're gonna just bring them up. It's not that. So this constructivism is ideal for the children with already functional intelligence, and then ideal home nurture. So parents are very, good at, interested in education and bring their children, raise their children in educational way and prepare them socially, emotionally, linguistically for their school education. And then they met a good teacher. So these are the environmental things, right? However, we have many children born with only cognitive potentials, and they are born in a home environment not that ideal, educationally not ideal. And then their social emotional foundation is very fragile and shaky. And they come to school, and then school teachers are their last hope and waiting for them to teach. However, school teachers themselves are not that much ready, because it's a school teachers. It doesn't matter, how much prepared, well prepared, still their personal, their functional intelligence, their potential, parts are different. So we cannot say just all licensed, certified teachers are 100% all efficient and proficient. They are ready to teach any children with great cognitive potentials and transform those potentials to functional intelligence through their teaching. It's not that. So I see, most of my pre-service teachers, I'm teaching and preparing, educating about more than 80% of our students, elementary students and special education. I'm sorry, I said the students, but pre-service teachers, the teacher candidates in elementary and special education, they all have this constructivism theory inside, that belief inside. And many teacher trainers, teacher educators like me, they believe in constructivism. And it is a beautiful beliefs. Again, we trust every child has those functional intelligence to explore the world, intellectual world by themselves based on their, facilitating, they're helping. However, they are not direct educator, direct teachers, teach it directly. They are more like a bystanders and watching children's teaching. So based on this constructivism, teaching method is child-centered. So multi-sensory method they use. A lot of hands-on instructional method they use. So when they use those methods without clear direct teaching, these 70 to 80% of children, they have to figure out what exactly they are learning. It's because it's not direct teaching. So let's say direct instruction, they have a series of curriculums, scripted curriculums. So it is based on behaviorism. They already designed, researched, and put out those curriculums. And these curriculums are perfect for large school district. Large city school district is perfect because these curriculums did not include parental support. And Engelmann's theory of, principle of teaching I'm sorry, I just could not remember because it's right now, it's early morning. I could not, say that. Anyway, his book said we have 3 variables. We have children's variables, we have parents' variables, we have children's variables. As a school participant, we include the parents there, but it's not for really real curriculum teaching. So parents' variables, we cannot control them, right? We cannot have an expectation about parents. So we remove parents. So we only count child variable, teacher's variable, right? So teacher's variable, we try to reduce those teacher's variables. So we try to provide a strong, solid teacher education, teacher preparation. And children's variable is so many children's variables, but however, we have 4 groups of children, as many times I said, children born with functional intelligence and then good home environment. Children have good functional intelligence, however, weak home environment. And then children with weak, it's more like cognitive potentials, however, good home environment. And then children has neither. It's a weak, more cognitive potentials than functional intelligence. And then home environment is not really ideal and just, promoting or encouraging them to have a better education, not that kind of environment. So these, I said, it's just 4 groups. However, in this spectrum of variables, it's a lot. And then teacher gotta do, based on that variables, we have to teach them. However, how we can control these teachers' variables? Because the teacher has a saying, they could have, even they are adults, still, teacher has a cognitive potential. So cognitively not that smart. And then their social emotional part, and then their, I don't know how to say, their, teacher preparation. So how much we can cover with this, their own born one. And then their teacher education was not really properly reinforced their weaknesses. So we have a teacher variables, and then when teacher has high exceptionalities and child, students, learners with high, exceptionalities, it's a really worst case, right? So I see direct instructions made to reinforce these children, about 70–80% of cases. It is really, really important because it's already research-based. It counted all these teacher variables and children variables, and then they removed the parent part. So that means teacher can teach these children with these curriculums. So this is more like a school district decision makers, stakeholders gotta have to think about it. And this is a scripted curriculums to remove or reduce teacher variables. So teacher practice, learn how to implement these curriculums, and then they don't have to even make a lesson plans. If you love constructivism, and you want to provide a child-centered education, that is okay. You can do it. However, can you save about 1 hour, 30 minutes, provide this direct instruction to children, have them foundation. We are shaping their foundation so they can explore this intellectual world you made, those beautiful instructions you made. I'm not saying 100% you do all behaviorism because you have your own beliefs, and then I cannot fight against all these people and professionals truly believe this behaviorism, no constructivism. And I'm not saying this constructivism are really wrong or incorrect. It is very good. It's beautiful. We wish all our children could do that. However, the problem is we have many children with all these variables, exceptionalities. Government are aware of these, those stakeholders. That's why we have these exceptionalities in the law, and we have to cover those. However, we choose wrong curriculums. So please have them foundation with literacy and numeracy. Okay, so at least this literacy and numeracy, we have to have a direct instruction and let the teachers use these curriculums and divide even 1/3 of school hours. Please teach children with this direct instruction curriculums. And then rest of 2/3, you can use a constructivism method and just a beautiful child-centered education. You can do it. However, especially those kindergarten through about 3rd, 4th grade children, they need direct instructions so they can have all those gears, so they can go out to the battlefield, they can fight. Okay. So they can enjoy the academic wonderland you made, designed nicely. So I hope, I'm gonna repeatedly emphasize this because we have to increase these children's failure in school education. We have to reduce these high instance disabilities. And I'm just studying about that. And I'm thinking a lot about it. And it's not just like a vague. We even have these beautiful curriculums for them. It's just only about the politics or just, I don't know what these are. All these teachers and children in the classroom, they suffer. They suffer with these children's behaviors, their challenging behavioral communications because they cannot appreciate, enjoy their teachers' teaching. So let them have all those learning gears so they can participate in these academic wonderland pathways and journeys and adventures. Please.